Shabbos Daf Tesvav, we're discussing the 18 machlokesim between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel, that the halacha is like Beis Shammai. Even though Beis Hillel argued with Beis Shammai in every single one, once they passed in the halacha like Beis Shammai, the following day Beis Hillel agreed that they were right, Beis Shammai was right. There are 300 machlokesim between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel, but there are only 3 machlokesim between the Rabbeim, Hillel, and Shammai themselves. The first one is, how much dough does one have to make in order to be chayiv in Hafrashas Challah? According to Hillel, it's 2 kav. According to Shammai, 1 kav. They're machmer even in a lesser amount. And according to Chachamim, it's 1.5 kav. The Torah says you bring challah on a oimer, which is asiris ha'efa. It's 1/10 of an ephah. An ephah is 432 eggs. A tenth of that is 43 eggs. How do you remember that? Challah, ches lamed hey, 43. That's 18 kav. 18 kav is 432 eggs. A tenth of that is 2 kav. Now, how is a tenth of 18 2 kav? Well, because we're going milabar. In other words, in Gemara math, you take the final number. 2 plus the 18 is 20. 10% of that is 2. Chachamim say, well, let's talk about Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai for a second. They both agree it's 2 kav, but Beis Shammai say that the 2 kav is for 2 meals. So we're dealing with 1 meal. 1 meal is 1 kav, and chiyuv challah is on 1 kav. Chachamim say, we don't go milabar, we go milagav. You do 10% of 18, which is 1.8. In addition to that, we're not talking about the shiurim of the midbar, we're talking about the shiurim of Yerushalayim, where they took 6 and made it 5. Later on, when they took, again, 6 and made it 5 in Tzipari, the shiur changed again, and Rabbi Yossi said you have to add a little bit more because the eggs were larger in the desert than they are now, and he added another 5%. Second machlokes is mikvah. A mikvah needs 40 saw of rainwater. Let's say you're trying to fill up a mikvah with rainwater, and then you decide, that's not on purpose by the way, you decide to put in a little extra water from the sink, mayim shuvim. It makes the mikvah possible. But how much water do you need to introduce? According to Hillel, it's a hin. He used the word hin like his Rebbe, like his Rebbeim, Shmai ben Naftalion, which means 12 lugan. According to Shammai, it's 36 lugan. And here's an amazing thing. Chacham and Paskin, like 2 weavers that lived next to Shar Ashbis, Rashi points out, weavers is the lowest profession possible. One cannot be a king or a kohen gadol if he's a weaver. And the worst neighborhood in the world is Shar Ashbis. Yet, we paskin like these 2 weavers that testified in the name of Shmai v'Aftalion that it's 3 log. Why? Because they learned Torah. And the third machlokes is regarding a woman who sees dam. Any food that she touches becomes tameh. Dam takes time to emerge. Once it leaves the womb, she's tameh. Yet Shammai says she's only metama from here on out. Even though she touched food 10 seconds ago, and it's impossible for the dam not to be metamer, no, dayon shatan from here on out. Hillel say that it's mepkida lemkida. From the last time that she saw dam, in other words, from the last time she did a bdika, could be months ago, everything in between is tameh. Every food she touched. And Chachamim come along, they say, depending. It's me'es leis 24 hours. But if she did a bdika less than 24 hours, then we go to the bdika. Whatever is less, the bdika or me'es leis. There's seemingly a fourth machlokes. And that is, if a person brings a carbon ayantiv, is he allowed to do smicha or not? Could he lean on the head with all his might? According to Hillel, yes. According to Shammai, no. The reason why it's not included in we only have 3 machlokes and not 4, is because this is a very old machlokes. This is actually the first machlokes in Klal Yisrael. And Shammai and Hillel just repeated the machlokes. There's another machlokes. Somebody who takes his grapes for wine, and some of the grapes leak wine or grape juice. Is that considered mashkim, a liquid, to make the grapes susceptible to tumah or not? According to Shammai, yes. According to Hillel, not. But since Hillel later on agreed to Shammai, this is not considered a machlokes. The Gemara just tells us there was 3 stages when it comes to dirt that comes from chutz la'aretz. As we mentioned the other day, dirt that comes from chutz la'aretz, since the goyim don't mark the graves, it's possible that in the dirt there's fragments of bones and therefore it's matama. So there's 3 stages. Yosef ben Yoezer and Yosef ben Yochanan, the first zug, they made the first stage. And they said that if that dirt touches truma, you cannot eat the truma. You don't have to burn it, but you can't eat it. It's called toilim. And the ear space, they didn't do any kind of gzera at all. Now you cannot say that they said that you have to burn it, because the only thing that was burnt right away is something that was truma that was touched by somebody that had hands that weren't clean. Later on, the Rabbanim of Shemainim Shana, meaning 80 years before the Churban HaBayis, they added. And they said that the ear space is also toilim. It also has tumah. You don't have to burn it, but it's tumah, you can't eat the truma. And later on in Usha, one of the 6 gzeiros that they made in Usha was that the dirt from Chutz La'aretz that touches truma, you must burn the truma. But the ear space remained the same, you just toilah. Rabbi Yossi said that 180 years before the Churban HaBayis Sheni, the Romans came in, they started to conquer. And 80 years beforehand, that's when the Rabbanan of Usha, the Rabbanan of the Rabbanan of 80, which they called, they said that Tumah, and they said what we said before. And they were guys are also on glassware. 40 years before the Churban, the Sanhedrin moved from Lishkas Hagazes to Chanuyos, and they stopped doing capital punishment. The way it went, there was 4 generations, 100 years before Churban HaBayis. It went Hillel, Shimon, and then Reb Gamliel, and Reb Shimon. In Usha, there was 6 Sveikos. We have Beis HaPras, that means, according to Rashi, if there's a grave that's in a field and we don't know where the grave is, so any truma that touches that field has to be burnt. As we discussed, the second thing is dirt from Chutz La'aretz. Third thing is clothing of an Amoritz that his wife Nida might have sat on them, and it was Metame B'Medras. If you find it clean in the street, you have to assume it's Tameh, somebody's Tameh touched it. If you touch fruit, to spittle, we have to assume that it came from a Zav, and you have to burn the Truma. And finally, Mei Reglaim. Rabbi Yossi says that you burn this Truma in Rishus HaYachid, even if you're not sure that you touched it, even though it's a Sfek Sveika. Let's say it came, you're not sure if it came from Chutz La'aretz, you're not sure if there's a bone in there, and you're not sure if you touched it, double Sveikas. Since it's in Rishus HaYachid, you burn it. Chacham say in Rishus HaYachid, you don't eat it, you don't burn it. And in Rishus HaRabim, it's Tahar, because Safek Tum Rishus HaRabim is Tahar. Now, why did they make a Gzeira on glassware? Because glassware is created from sand, and sand is similar to what we create earthenware from. If so, how could you put glass in a mikvah and be metar? The answer is you can't. The only time you put glass in a mikvah is if it has a hole in it and you fill the hole with lead. Now we're looking at a kli that's made out of lead. Like Rameir says, anytime you have a maimed, something that makes the kli function, over here it is the lead, then the whole kli turns into lead, and therefore that's the only time you put such a glass in the mikvah. Have a wonderful day.